What is up, guys? Grimlock here, back with another video. This one's going to be a long one, but it's just my tier list video on what I think the upcoming changes are going to mean to the classes and the compositions of this game. So I hope you enjoy it. Without further ado, here is my tier list for Dragonflight 10.0.2/.5. Alrighty guys, so as you can see here, we have all of our Dragonflight specializations. We have S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and then we have the why even play this spec. So first off, just to explain some things, a new patch is coming out that's going to buff some things and nerf some things, so this might be subject to change, but I'm just going to go off of what that patch kind of is. So realistically, this is going to be the most updated version. And we'll just go down the list. So first we have Havoc Demon Hunter. Havoc Demon Hunters, even after their nerf, are incredibly strong. I'd even consider them, I think they're probably about A tier. Realistically, I don't think they're S tier anymore just because they're not like godlike. I don't know. They're really close to S tier. But we'll start them off in A tier, and then we'll go from there. Obviously, Vengeance. Why even play this? It's tank spec, garbage, trash. Ferals, S tier. They're really good right now. Crazy high damage numbers. Really good. They did not need the 3% buff that they got, but you know what? Hey, we take those. Beast Mastery Hunters. I actually think Beastmaster's pretty good. The only problem is if you can CC the pets with like roots, and a lot of classes have AoE roots right now, they become really hard to like actually do damage with. So I'm gonna place Beastmaster in B tier. Survival Hunters are really good. They do a lot of damage. I'm gonna place them in A tier. I think they're kind of like an underrated spec right now, actually. I think Marksman is not good because they get interrupted on their like casts so often. There's so many stuns, so many interrupts in this game, kind of. Not interrupts as in like kicks and stuff, because you can't kick a hunter, but interrupts as in like pulling them and moving them around. That is really hard to just sit still and do damage with a marksmanship hunter. Also, rapid fire gets interrupted by like everything. Like, you know, like you get stunned, rapid fire gets interrupted. It's actually pretty easy to interrupt a marksmanship hunter, but I'm gonna place them in B tier because I think they do a ridiculous amount of damage. And if you do get off your damage, or if you have like, if you're playing Thug Cleave, you can set up for a lot of damage here. And Marksman's pretty good, but I don't think it's as good as Beastmaster. I think Beastmaster is just more consistent. We have Prop Pally. Why even play that? Guardian Druid. All right, Guardian Druid's actually C tier because Guardian Druid's just godly, but I hate Guardian Druids. Don't even talk about it. Alright, Assassination Rogue. Probably still the best rogue spec out of all of them. Even after the nerfs, I think they're really good. I think I'm going to place Assassination in A tier. We go on to Outlaw. I think Outlaw Rogues are kind of underrated, but I don't think they're that good. I'm going to say B tier. I'm going to say they're better than Marks, though. I also think Assassination's better than Survival, so we'll do that. Sub Rogue. I'm iffy because I think sub rogues are really good in actual organized threes, but in solo shuffle, they're horrible, like actually terrible. But in actual threes, I think they can be pretty good because you can set up a lot of damage. So I'm gonna say sub rogue is right above outlaw. I don't know. Outlaw's actually probably a little better, but we'll place them here for right now. We got Prot Warrior. Just throw that in the dumpster. Fury Warrior is actually like low-key really good. I think they're probably better than Marks. I don't think they're better than maybe better than Outlaw. We'll do that. Arms is better than like all these. Arms is A tier now for sure. Devastation Evoker. The problem with Devastation Evoker is they're really squishy, but they do a ridiculous amount of damage, and they just got buffed on their damage, so they actually have like quite a bit of one-shot potential. In organized threes, I could see them being pretty good. In solo shuffles, they're really good because people just have no clue what's going on. A little chaotic, so I think I'm going to place Devastation Evoker in A tier. Dun dun dun, maybe? I think so. I think that's the move. Moving on, we got Preservation Evoker. This is definitely S tier. Definitely the best, one of the best healers, if not the best healer in the game besides Resto Druid, so we might as well just put Resto Druid up there now. We have Blood DK, trash. Frost DK, actually pretty good. I think Frost DK is probably better than Fury Warrior. Maybe. I don't know. Fury Warrior is pretty good too. They live for a while. But I think in organized games, they can flop pretty easily once their cooldowns are over. Unholy DK is definitely better than all of these. I'm going to say Unholy DK's there. Unholy DK is really good. Actually, Unholy DK is definitely S tier. They're really good. They're pretty ridiculous. The only thing that I think makes Unholy DK way better than Frost is the fact that A-Bomb Limb scales with their mastery, and they get a bunch of mastery. So Unholy DKs just do a ridiculous amount of damage. Also, they don't need to be in contact with their target like Frost does. Like, they just have a bunch of pets that just do damage for them. So once you're, like, done setting up, you can pretty much AFK on Unholy DK and it'll just run the game itself. Whereas Frost DK, you actually have to be on top of your target, constantly doing stuff, and it can be pretty hard to actually stay on your target as Frost DK because you can get peeled pretty hard, especially after A-Bomb Limb. Fire Mage, I think Fire Mage is garbage, honestly, sadly, because I love Fire Mage. I think it's a good spec, but it's pretty dumpster tier. I do think it's better than Guardian Druid, though, just because I hate Guardian. Actually, I don't know. It may not even be better than Guardian Druid. I think Frost is okay. I would place it here, probably. Definitely better than Fire, for sure. Ret Paladin is actually really good now. I don't think they're that good. I think they've always been pretty good, though, honestly. I want to put it right here. There you go. I think that's where they... I don't know. They're pretty good. The problem is they flop really easily. Unless if you're good at kiting. It's like Windwalker Monk. If you're good at kiting, they become really durable. But if you're not... The problem is if you're kiting, you're not doing any damage. So, like, you might as well just be playing a different class almost. But, anyways. Ret Paladins do a ridiculous amount of burst damage. They may be even S tier with the right comp. Like Ret Paladin DK is probably crazy right now. Even Ret Paladin Demon Hunter is probably pretty good, but I think that might be too squishy of a comp to run seriously. Holy Priest is actually really good. They got buffed. I think they're pretty good. I just fought against one in the last arena, and it was actually kind of hard to deal with. So I'm going to place Holy Priest probably like high B tier. I think that's a pretty good spot for them. Just because Holy Priest seems like they have a lot of ways to prevent burst, and by doing that, and by prevent burst, I mean, like, they can prevent you getting one shot. So, like, if you're fighting against Ret DK, for instance, and Ret just pulls out a random 250k, you know, what do they call that? The Radiant Decree. You know, you can Guardian Spirit and be fine, but it's still really hard to play around because, you know, you run out of cooldowns and then you start to run out of heals, and they also pretty quickly, which is a problem, whereas, like, Preservation Evoker never and Resto Druids just infinitely heal. And they're also really hard to, like, kill. So, like, both of these are really hard to kill. You can actually probably train a Holy Priest to the ground, whereas you can't train an Evoker or a Resto Druid to the ground. But, moving on, we got Holy Paladin. Holy Paladins are good. The fact that they can sacrifice and bop damage is really good. Bubble is really good. The thing is with arms being better and, like more used now, like Shattering Throw is a thing more commonly now. Like, it's really rare that we were seeing warriors, but now arms is really good. I think just people have realized that arms is really good because I think it's been good. But anyways, I think Holy Paladin, realistically, I think it's actually better than Holy Priest. Probably better than Evoker too. Damage Evoker is actually pretty good though. I don't know. I think Damage Evoker is better than Survival. I think Survival's here. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do that. Okay, our Arcane Mage is actually really good. It requires a little bit of setup, though. And the problem is if you get kicked on your damage, you get kicked on everything as Arcane, whereas, like, Frost and Fire, you can still do stuff. Like, if you get kicked on Poly, for instance, you can still do damage. Frost is probably... I think it's a little bit better than Frost. I'm going to say, Arcane is probably here. Actually, maybe better than Beastmaster. It's hard to say. They're pretty good. Disc Priest, I think, is honestly... I don't know. I don't fight against a lot of Disc Priests. I think it's a little bit better than Holy. Just because they live longer than Holy when they get trained. I don't know. This is hard. Actually, Holy's pretty good now because they have that thing where they can turn into the Angel and just be immune to damage for like 10 seconds straight every 2 minutes, which is basically bubble, but you can't sack it, you can't shatter it, which is crazy. And they could just free cast all day, which is really good. The problem is you're like a stationary target, so your team just has to sit in line of you, which sucks. But I think Disc is good. Paints Up is really good now. What's the cooldown on Paint Up? I actually don't know what the cooldown on Paint Up is. It's got to be like a minute and a half, 2 minutes now, right? That would make sense. That should be what it is, honestly. It match cooldown, so. Brewmaster garbage. I actually haven't fought a single Brewmaster, but actually that's a lie. I fought one, and he stunned me like 4 times back to back on different DRs, and it was very confusing. It was like a disorient, a stun, another stun, and then a different stun altogether. So I was like, what is this? But he did no damage, like literally nothing, and then he just flops. So, I mean, they're cool for CC, I guess. I mean, if you want to just replace your sub-rogue with a Brewmaster, maybe. Maybe? No, I'm kidding. That's actual trash. Mistweavers. Oh, this is an underrated spec, and I want to talk about this, actually. So, fighting against a lot of Devastation Evokers, they play a lot of Chrono Loop, and what Chrono Loop does, to give you an idea, is basically, say your health pool is full, and they bring you, I'm going to use these emojis as a health pool. So this is a full health pool now. Imagine the Evoker brings you to like this, right? Then they Chrono Loop you. You heal yourself back up to, say, here, and then 5 seconds later, or if you dispel it, you drop back down to this, which is really, really strong, right? Like crazy strong, because it makes you burst out your healing, and you have to do it because you'll just die if you sit at 10% health. But the problem is if you don't, or if you do burst yourself up, you still drop back down to 10% health 5 seconds later. And if they time the Eternity Surge into like a Living Flame properly, you can honestly just get global just because of Chrono Loop. As long as you get low enough in health, basically you have to stay above a certain health pool versus Devastation Evokers that play Chrono Loop, or else you're going to get dropped really quick. But the exception to that is Mistweavers, because when you Chrono Loop them at low health, say they're at 10%, and then you Life Cocoon, boom, back up, but they don't have to heal, right? They just have Life Cocoon. 5 seconds later, when they drop back down to Chrono Loop, the Life Cocoon still stays on them. So this is really, really good. Because say you heal back up to full, you drop back down to nothing again, but you life cocooned, your Life Cocoon absorb is still persistent through the Chrono Loop. So with that being said, and how good Devastation Evokers are, I'm gonna actually place Mistweaver like here. I think they're a little bit better than Priests. I think they're underrated, honestly. I think they're really underrated. I think they're super underrated. They're really good, but still, nonetheless, I don't think they're S tier at all. I do think they're A tier. But anyways, Windwalkers, they do a lot of damage. They super squishy. They're basically Devastation Evokers, but melee range. Massive amount of damage, massive amount of mobility. Has to kite after their damage is done because basically they do nothing outside of their damage. Though Devastation Evokers kind of still do damage, but Windwalkers don't. The Windwalkers are like, they're okay. Though their sustain buff was pretty good. Their burst got kind of smashed on for it, which is funny because Ret Paladin's burst got buffed and their sustain got buffed, so like they got best of both worlds, whereas Windwalker kind of got shafted. But Windwalker is still pretty good. I'm gonna place it actually right in between Arcane and Beastmaster. I think they're there. The thing is I think if a Windwalker plays with Unholy DK, they go up to like high A tier, like above Ret Paladin. It just depends on what comp you're playing. Like, Windwalker DK is so good. It's always been really good. You can grip into leg sweep into that Frost Breath thing that disorients everybody. It's crazy. It's really good. So, I mean, I think Windwalker DK is really good still. I think Windwalker Ellie is really good. It's something that I've been playing because, I am an Elemental Shaman after all. But, yeah. Speaking of Elemental Shaman, S tier. This class is crazy right now. Realistically, I'm going to place DK up here. I think Feral is worse than Shaman. I think this is how I want to do this. Yeah, so I think Unholy DK is the god class of the game. I think Elemental Shaman is the second god class of the game. And I think the 2 healers here are crazy. The problem is you can't play Unholy DK Ellie very consistently. I don't think it's that good. I mean, it's good, but I don't think it's that good. I think Ellie plays the best with Mage. I think Ellie plays the best with Warlock. I think Ellie plays the best with Rogue. Probably those 3 comps are probably their best right now. And also Warrior. I think Thundercleave is really good. I've been playing it a lot. When I get Warriors in Solo Shuffle, I get excited because they're pretty good. Resto Shamans, though. Resto Shamans, also crazy good. I think Resto Shamans are actually high A tier. Definitely not as good as Demon Hunters, as weird as that sounds. But I think Resto Shamans are really good. Definitely one of the best healers in the game. And they can contribute to damage a little bit with their Stormkeeper if they want to do. But outside of Stormkeeper, they're actually pretty tanky. and they're probably one of the only healers that can live being trained with peels for long, except for these two. I mean, these two are just god tier healers, honestly. Resto, Druid, and Preservation Evoker heavily need nerfs. Though maybe they don't. I think damage just needs nerfs, because realistically, like, all these healers should be able to live being trained. At least live cooldowns. But, like, I feel like if a Ret and an Unholy DK are training a Disc Priest, for instance, that Disc Priest is dead 100% of the time, unless if it gets peeled heavily. And the problem is peeling a DK is really hard because of AMS and Icebound, and peeling a Ret is really hard because of Bop and Bubble and Sack. So you can't even poly them, because if they sack, like, your kill target, they'll just break out of the polys. So these two classes, like, if you play Vanguard's Cleave right now, which is DK Ret, I'm 90% sure you can just train healers, like, like 90% of the game, and you'll probably win. Boomy, sadly, Boomy is really bad, but when you get your set bonus on Boomy, Boomy goes from being like C tier, better than Guardian. We'll put those better than Guardian, because Guardian really isn't that good. But Boomy, it goes from being C tier with set bonus to like high B tier with once they get set bonus. Once they get set bonus, up here. Without set bonus, down here. They gain so much damage from their set bonus. It's crazy. Their Star Surges go from hitting for like 60k to actually hitting for like 85k, which is really good considering you can do like 5 of them back to back. I actually play a Boomy, but I haven't shown you guys that. So maybe in a future video I'll play my Boomy for you guys if you'd like to see any Boomy content. But I also play Devastation Evoker, which I've been playing a lot of lately, so you'll definitely see some Devastation Evoker coming up soon. But yeah, I would like to play my Boomy more. I just don't have set pieces. I'm waiting until the week comes out where you can just turn your conquest pieces into set pieces, because once that happens, I'll just play Boomy more. I'll play it more frequently. But Shaman's gonna be still my main. It always will be. And they're still there. I know for a fact they're gonna nerf. If they nerf, for instance, overall damage by say 15% for Elemental Shaman, I will still play Elemental Shaman because I still think it's good, even after a 15% overall nerf. Which is crazy to say that like Elemental's that strong, because like 15% nerf to everything is dumb. That's a really big nerf. And it will still, if Ellie got a 15% nerf to their damage, they'll still be like low A tier. That's how good they are. They're just so good, I swear. Affliction Lock just got a massive damage buff, and they work really well with Elemental and Unholy DK. So just because of the comps they can play and the fact they're pretty good right now, I'm actually going to place Affliction right under Ret. Actually, I'll place it above Ret, because their survivability is really good, whereas Ret's can kind of flop depending on the player. Demo Lock just got shafted pretty hard with their burst. The Demo Bolts hit pretty hard now. Like 75% increase on Demon Bolt is kind of huge. Maybe not that huge, though, because realistically they only hit for like 7k, so now they're hitting for like 14k or something like that. It's like, okay, like not that great. I think Demo is still low A tier, though, just because Warlock, really. Like, anything that can spam CC is really good. Honestly, Arcane can probably go here, too. Destrolock is really good right now. I don't think it's as good as Affliction, though. I think it's like here. I think that makes sense. Affliction's really good. I don't think a lot of people are playing Affliction, but it is very good. You can instantly apply dots. You can spread your dots. And then you just like sit there and laugh as everybody rots. Shadow Priest, still crazy good after their nerfs, guys. I know everybody's like, Shadow Priest got shafted, Shadow Priest is bad, Shadow Priest is garbage. No, you are completely wrong, dude. Shadow Priest is crazy. They are on the level of Elemental Shaman before their nerfs, and now after their nerfs, they're exactly where I was saying Elemental Shaman would be, which I think, honestly, Shadow Priest is above Ret Paladin for sure. Right under Affliction Lock. The only thing is Shadow Priest, right? So, just because they don't do, like, as much damage as they did before, they still top charts. They're still, like, competing with my Elemental Shaman damage, which is dumb. And on top of that, they have an instant cast Silence, an instant cast AoE Fear, an instant cast AoE Root, and an instant cast Stun. So, and Mind Control. So, like, if you had to, you can, like, spam self-peel yourself, which is crazy good. They have so much utility. So, And they have life swap and disperse, so they're just like infinitely better defensively than most classes. And they pair really well with like classes like rogue, pair well with classes like mage. Like honestly, Arcane Mage Shadow Priest is probably one of the better comps in the game right now. The only problem is I think they get shafted by melee cleaves, and Unholy DK being really good and Feral being really good is not good for Shadow Priest. But yeah, so I think Shadow Priest is A tier. They're pretty good. Enhancement Shaman. Now I haven't played that much Enhance, but I know for a fact Enhanced Shamans, they like they're like glass cannon melees, which is weird because melee shouldn't be glass cannon, and I don't think they're as good as Ret. I think Ret is way better, way more consistent. I think Enhance probably belongs under Outlaw, above Marks. I think Frost honestly also belongs like above Outlaw. Yeah, I think that's probably a better spec run. I think this is it though. I think this is the tier. I'm gonna look it over really quick. So let's see. We got Unholy DK, Elisham, perfect S tier. Honestly, they could be better. They're probably better than S tier. They're so good. They're underrated good. People think Unholy DK just flops. It doesn't just flop anymore because they just don't know how to play it, I don't think. I don't think a lot of people know how to play Ellie or Unholy, which is why I love making Ellie content because I feel like I'm helping a lot of people gain knowledge about the game. But Ellie is definitely crazy good. Survivability wise, yeah, they're a little squish because they can get trained pretty hard. You don't have anything to prevent damage, like a disperse or a bubble or anything like that. You don't have any absorbs, but you're still pretty tanky, dude. Like having a shield wall on a minute and a half cooldown that takes 40% less damage for 12 seconds non-dispellable is crazy good. Crazy good. Also low-key, like Earth Elemental is really good too. But anyways, I mean, I pop Earth Elemental in PvP and I have over like 450k health. It's kind of crazy. But realistically, these two are just god specs. They pair really well with like all the A tier specs. I think Devastation Evoker Elemental Shaman could actually be something kind of crazy. I think Elemental Shaman Destro Lock, Elemental Shaman Af Lock, Elemental Shaman Shadow Priest, all probably really good right now. Kind of crazy. Like if you think about it, right? Theoretically, hear me out, right? You're playing Elemental Shaman Shadow Priest, right? You walk out. The team that you're fighting against has to decide which one to train, because if they don't train one to the ground, the other one is just gonna just destroy somebody, or they have to split. So like one person goes on an elemental, one person goes on Shadow Priest, but that's too little pressure because Elemental Shaman can tank it, Shadow Priest can tank one person, no problem. Which is why they're actually like Shadow Priest is actually pretty good in twos now. But anyways, so realistically, you can walk out, pop cooldowns, you can instant cast stun and off target. You can instant cast silence the healer, and with Shaman you can lightning last on the main target if you wanted. Or theoretically you can instant cast stun the healer. You can fear the off target with Shadow Priest, and you guys can burst down main target. If the healer trinkets the stun, they get instant silenced, or if they don't, they get silenced out of the stun. So that's 8 seconds of just straight CC the healer has to sit, or they get feared, basically, as long as you're positioning your Shadow Priest really well, or if your Shadow Priest can't position that well. So, like, you just have so much instantaneous pressure with that comp. It's kind of good. I think it works a little bit better with Aflock, but anyways, Elemental Shaman, crazy good right now. Yeah, I think this is my tier list, though, guys. Alrighty guys, so that is gonna do it for my video for today, but I promise I will be coming back with some more Elemental Shaman content as I just hit Duelist again in Solo Shuffle, so that was really excited. To show all that, I have all the videos leading up to that, so I'm gonna go over and break down each game so you guys can understand what I'm doing in those games. I hope you enjoy this content. I know it's a little lackluster. I hate doing these types of tier list type videos because I feel like they don't take that much effort, but then again, time for me right now is a little limited, so making video content for you guys is a little tougher than it normally would be, but then again, it's worth it for you guys, so I appreciate it. I appreciate all the subs, by the way. You guys have been killing it with subs. I'm almost up to that 1K mark realistically, so super excited about that. But thank you guys so much again for all the love and support. Please make sure if you have any questions, comment below, subscribe, and make sure you guys like the video. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.